In this episode on our Pontiac Firebird, we're going to upgrade the AC system to more modern refrigerants. Okay, so one of the things we were commissioned to work on this Pontiac Firebird was the replacement of the AC compressor. Now, the AC compressor on this car was locked up, and as you can see, I've jumped the gun already, and I've already got it removed off the car. But in order to replace the compressor, there's a few more things that need to be done, being as the R12 refrigerant that was originally in this vehicle is no longer available at a reasonable cost. You can get it, but it's very expensive, and once it's gone, it's gone. So the upgrade is to replace the original R12 refrigerant with R134A, which is more readily available and much more cost effective. So that being said, there are a few things that need to be changed on these systems in order to make it compatible with this new freon. Because of the molecular compound of these freons, they work a little bit differently than the originals do. So I'm going to point out a few things that have to be taken care of in order to make the system operate efficiently and properly and not give any problems for many years to come. Hey guys, I've been working feverishly here on Project Marcia with Ashton helping me out when he can. He's here for the summer, so he's going to be helping me out a little bit more. But I wanted to tell you about an upcoming event that we're going to have Marcia at, as long as we can get her done in time. It's going to be September 13th through the 15th in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's the 5th annual Holly Mo Party. So be sure to come out to the show. We've got some special guests coming to be in the Mopar Connection booth this year. We're going to have Muscle Car Restorations there with a couple of their projects. Also, Robert and Justin of Kivy and Friends podcast will be there with their General Lee and a replica of Daisy's 74 Roadrunner. Why are we going to have Daisy's 74 Roadrunner there? Well, that's our other special guest that's going to be presented by AMD. We're going to have Miss Catherine Bach there, better known as Daisy Duke. So come out and visit us at the booth. We'll be there selling some shirts. We've got these great shirts. What does Mopar mean to you? With the Mopar Connection logo on the front here. You can also pick these up at www.moparconnectionmagazine.com. Go to the store and shop for a shirt. Help support the magazine. Help support these projects we got going on. Hope to see you out at the show on September 13th through the 15th, again at Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hopefully we'll see you there.
I won't be there. Will I be there?
So what we're looking at here is, this is our AC component section over here. This is our HVAC box. It contains our evaporator. In the front of the radiator is our condenser. Now these hard parts do not have to be changed. The only thing that needs to be done, I have to separate all the fittings in the system. The O-rings need to be replaced with a new type of O-ring because, as I talked about, the compound makeup of these freons is different. The R134A uses a smaller molecular compound than the original R12. So that makes it easier for the freon to leak past certain seals, which is another reason why hoses need to be replaced also. So these hoses have to be replaced with what's called a barrier type hose. And there are companies out there that make new hoses for these vehicles with this block already attached to them that bolts to the back of the compressor. This line down here, this is a high pressure line, and let me get a light so you can see this here, but that right there is a hose clamp. Now the idea of holding an AC line together with a hose clamp, to me, especially on a high pressure side, that doesn't sit well with me. Now I do have some lines from kits that I've bought, and I may be able to come up with the right size solid line to go from here to here, because this high pressure line, really, there's no movement in this, so I don't know why it would need a hose in it. So I'm going to replace it with a solid piece of tubing and just make that a solid line. Now once we have all the connections opened, I'll need to flush out anything that's left in the system using a flushing fluid, which will clean all the old oils out, because that's another thing that's not compatible is the two types of oils that were used in the systems. Now the new compressor comes with a more modern oil in it that's compatible with the 134A, so that's already in there, and we need to get rid of any residual oils that are in the system. Next thing we have to do is eliminate this valve here. This is called a POA valve. I'm not sure what the POA stands for, but anyhow, it's called a POA valve, and it is the way that the system was regulated originally. These did not have a high pressure switch. The high pressure switch will turn the compressor on and off in a new type of system. This valve basically did the same thing. It made when the valve would move, when the pressures would reach a certain temperature, the valve would move, and this little tube here would allow the freon to just circulate in the system itself and not go through the compressor. So that needs to be replaced with a more modern high pressure switch, which will turn the compressor on and off and cycle it. Next thing we have down here, this is our regulator, so we need to take this off, and there is a little adjustment inside of it that has to be reset to a certain opening. The orifice needs to be increased on these for the 134 to work properly. So we'll take that apart, clean it, we'll go ahead and reset that, and then we'll be able to put all of our components back in, vacuum our system, add in any additional oils we need, and go ahead and recharge it with more modern freon. Alright, we're back here working on the TA. I got my helper Ashton here with me today. Ashton's not been here much because he's got school full time now. So it's spring break, so I've got Ashton here to help me out for a few days. How you been, Ashton?
Good.
Good. How's school going?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. That's good. Do you miss working in the shop every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. So what we're doing here is we're still working on the AC system, and we got some more of our new components put in. And I didn't record much of this. It's pretty much just changing everything out. I've got the compressor put on, the new compressor. I also got the new hoses that are the barrier type hoses put in with the replacement for the POA valve. This has a high pressure switch in it which will cycle the compressor off and on just like a modern system does. And one of the things that I found while I was working on this, and we're going to scoot in here over top of Ashton's head, was that the system was missing the dryer. So as you can see down here, there is now a dryer in the system right down in here.
I want to see it. I want to get my tool.
So we put a new dryer on it. And I talked about resetting this expansion valve back here. And the expansion valve is down here. But I did find a deal on Rock Auto that included the new dryer and a new expansion valve that's already set up for the 134A, so I opted to just go ahead and get a new replacement expansion valve. We've got all our new hoses installed, everything's hooked up, all new O-rings in. I've got the wiring reconfigured so that it works off the high pressure switch here, comes off of this other switch back here on the box, goes to the high pressure switch, and then powers up the compressor. So the only thing left we've got to do is go ahead and get our system vacuumed down and get it recharged. So I'm going to hook up my AC gauge set on it and go ahead and let it vacuum down. Make sure we get a good vacuum down to about 30 inches of mercury and see if it holds it. If it holds it, that's a good sign. That means there's no leaks anywhere. If it won't hold the vacuum, then we've got to search for a leak in the system.
Oh, we can.
I just ran the car and ran the AC, got the temp down. I shut it off so you could hear me talking. But it looks like we've got about 40, I had it down to about 46 degrees coming out of these vents. So that's not too bad on a older GM system being converted to 134A without a fan running in front of the condenser in the car to help cool it down some. That should keep this car pretty cool during the summer months while doing some cruising here in North Carolina. So that was a quick rundown on how to do a modern conversion to an older GM AC system with replacement of the compressor with a new lighter style compressor, getting rid of the old POA valve system and installing a high pressure switch to cycle your clutch off and on, and then replacing our hoses, cleaning out the system, and installing all our new parts, expansion valve, O-rings, barrier type hoses, new dryer, vacuum our system down, fill it up with R134A, which there is a conversion to figure out how much freon you need in your system. These older GM systems, this one for the Pontiac uses about, I think it was 3.5 pounds of R12 freon, and with the 134A you need to do about 80% of what you originally would put in the system with R12. So it worked out to just under 3 pounds. So I used the scale when pressurizing the system with the 134A, and I put in just under 3 pounds of freon, and it seems to work pretty good. Again, I had my temperature inside down, just sitting here in the shop running at about 46 degrees. Now going down the road, that temperature should drop another probably 5 degrees or so. We should get down to close to 40 degrees on this because we'll have cool air blowing across our condenser and cooling that freon even further. So I hope this was informative, helpful to anybody who's considering getting their old AC system up and running again. There are quite a few things you need to do in order to do it properly and have a trouble-free working AC system in your older car so you too can cruise and cool. Again, thanks for following along. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share, like, do all that stuff. Hit the bell notification so you can see the rest of the videos coming out. This is going to be the end of our Firebird series. We're almost finished with this car. We got a few more tweaks to do, and we're sending it home back to the customer, and he's got another car for me to do a little bit of work to. So we'll see you again soon when we get that car here.